Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Tyler Hahn. I'm the Public Information Officer for the Charlottesville Police Department. We're here to host a press conference on two major cases in our Internal Affairs Unit. Just to give you a rundown on how this is going to work, the first case, Chief Bracken will make a brief statement. The second case, she will also make a brief statement, and then we're going to walk you through two separate videos. The first video will be about 6 minutes long. The second video will be that particular case's findings, and we're going to go through step by step on each finding. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Chief Bracken. Oh, we have one more thing for the media who's attending this, and I've said this to you earlier, when we open up for questions at the end, we're going to do one question and one follow-up just so we can keep things moving pretty smoothly. Chief.
So good afternoon and thank you. The Charlottesville Police Department has completed its investigations into two cases of significant public interest. The first case involved the arrest and conviction of former Officer Jeffrey Yeager. On July 27, 2020, Attorney Janice Redinger filed a complaint pertaining to the actions stemming from his March 3rd, 2020 arrest of Mr. Henderson. This complaint rose to the level of criminality, and in September of 2020, CPD charged Yeager with misdemeanor assault and battery of the victim, Mr. Henderson. On December 11, 2020, Yeager was convicted of that offense, and the judge imposed a 12-month suspended sentence and 2 years of unsupervised probation. The criminal conviction cleared the way for CPD to proceed with an administrative investigation. As such, the following allegations were considered during the investigative process: excessive force, force used outside of policy, truthfulness, conformance to laws, unlawful seizure, and courtesy. For clarity, excessive force is that amount of force that is unreasonable when an officer is presented with the same sets of facts and circumstances. In this case, although Mr. Henderson was yelling, he absolutely complied with Yeager's instructions, and a review of all the body-worn camera evidence did not contain any supporting evidence that Mr. Henderson's actions posed a threat or one that would be reasonably justified to use force. By using force outside the policy, we sustained that as well as excessive force. Although Yeager was acting within the scope of his authority and policy when he instructed Henderson to stay away from the other participants, based on the body-worn camera evidence, Mr. Henderson complied with those directives. And it was the opinion of Internal Affairs that Yeager was not engaged in any lawful police objectives when he slammed Mr. Henderson into a wall. Therefore, we also sustained truthfulness when Yeager reported that Henderson took a fighting stance, attempting to entice other parties to fight him. Yeager reported that Henderson was trying to break away from him when he led him from the porch to and then into the wall. We have no evidence to support those statements, and that we do have evidence that Yeager misrepresented the facts and lied about his actions. Therefore, we sustain that as well as conformance to laws after a judicial review and conviction that is currently on appeal. We also sustain that his detention was unlawful, as well as report writing. We also are going to say at this time, in consultation with the Commonwealth's Attorney's Office, we will not release the body-worn camera footage in this case as it is currently under appeal in the criminal court system. The second case involves Mr. LaQuinn Moore and former Officer Joseph B. Wood. We're going to now show you the first video, which shows the encounter from the in-car camera and the body-worn camera initial encounter through the takedown, detention, and pat-down of Mr. Gilmore. This video also includes a backup officer on the scene with a different angle.
Hey, you alright, man? You alright? Huh? Step back in the car.
You okay? Are you doing all right?
Yes, I'm okay.
Okay, that's what I
I've been
stopped for.
taking antibiotics. I had to puke.
Okay,
So thank you.
yeah, that's why I stopped. I saw you stop, so I stopped to make sure you're all right.
Thank you, man.
All right.
Y'all be playing too much, man.
How about, hey, you have a driver's license? Let me see your driver's license.
Bad, man. But I didn't do anything bad.
135 base.
All right, look, this is what we doing out here.
135, bud.
I didn't do anything.
Show me
This is
stop
what
with the
we doing
vehicle
out
right here on Monticello Avenue. Be Virginia registration.
This is what we doing, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all know I was just in the hospital. This is what he decides to do. This is what he wanted to do, because I had to puke.
No worries. See the CP58 Terry's way.
What's your badge number?
Sir, you need to step back here out of the road, please.
Nah, I don't have to step anywhere because I didn't do anything.
I know you haven't done anything. I
So
stopped to
what
make
do
sure you're all right.
So I'm okay.
135.
I'm okay.
Okay, that's good. All right, so do you have his driver's license on you?
I don't buy, man.
No, no, it's not going to work like that.
It is going
No,
to work
sir.
like that because I didn't
Nope.
do anything.
I know you haven't done
Because I
anything.
didn't do anything, so thank you. Thank you for your service. Hey, make sure all y'all wake up in case he pull a weapon.
CP124,
Bye,
bud.
man. I don't have to stay in here.
Yep.
I move my car.
Come on, Monticello, you can keep traffic clear.
Man. Man, this my
No worries.
stomach
See the
hurt.
CP58 Dirk.
Sir, at this time, this is a traffic stop. If you flee a traffic stop, you will be placed under arrest.
Stop me,
Sir?
man.
That's right.
Bad, man.
The only reason I stopped was to make sure that you were all right, sir, and that was it.
Bad, man. Y'all just like to harass people.
Sir,
Y'all like to harass people.
I'm not harassing you, sir. I stopped to make sure you were okay.
You're harassing me.
Sir,
You're harassing me.
CP61, please.
No, you're not the harassing me. You can stop walking behind me. I know my rights, man. I know my rights.
sir,
I am doing nothing commercial.
I didn't say
I
you
know
were.
my rights. Thank you. I know my rights. Thank y'all. Y'all tried this too many times.
Sir?
Thank y'all. Bye. So sick of this, man. 'Cause I
135 to units
Because I
responding.
moved.
Individuals trying to flee. He's
Because I
walking
moved
back
the
up towards
car.
Monticello towards.
He will jump behind me and follow. He will follow me all the way to where I'm going. Nah, I ain't did nothing.
All right, sir. So do you
I
have?
haven't did anything.
So do you have a driver's license on you?
I haven't done anything.
All right, sir. What you?
Bad, man. I haven't done
Full traffic.
anything. You're harassing
Traffic
me.
CP1. CP135.
Stop
that was the
harassing me.
subject
Man,
20,
why is you following me, man? Y'all see that? This man is going to walk and follow me everywhere I go.
Sir, stop now.
Don't touch me.
Stop now. On the ground.
Oh my God, I just told you I got out the hospital, man. I just told you I just got out the hospital.
Put your hands behind your back.
Okay. What are you? Look. What in the is you doing this
Why are you
for?
fleeing?
Relax and
Why are you
No,
fleeing?
because I didn't do
Relax
anything.
and comply. He'll
I
explain
didn't do
everything.
anything.
Relax.
I just came out the hospital.
Okay, I
I
hear
was
you.
moving my car. I just came out the hospital, and the hospital will tell you that.
When you pulled over, I didn't pull you over. I pulled over to check on
I
you.
stopped, I parked the car and puked, look in front of my car.
All right, sir.
Give me my phone back. I didn't do anything. I haven't resisted. Y'all,
Yes, you did.
everything. I did not do. Oh my God.
Watch that
Y'all
arm.
see-
East Alliance, full traffic. CP1, hold traffic. CP1. CP135 out with the subject 20, please. East.
Yeah, with him.
Oh my God, I just told you I got out the hospital, man. I just told you I just got out the hospital.
Put your hand behind your back.
Okay. What are you? Look. What the is you doing this
Why are you
for?
fleeing?
Relax and
Why are you
comply.
fleeing?
Because I didn't do
Relax
anything.
and comply. He'll
I
explain
didn't
everything.
do anything.
Relax.
I just came out the hospital.
Okay.
I was moving my arm. I just came out the hospital, and the hospital will tell you that.
When you pulled over, I didn't pull you over. I pulled over to check
I
on you.
stopped, I parked the car and puked, look in front of my car.
All right, sir.
Give me my phone back. I didn't do anything. I haven't resisted. Y'all,
Yes, you
everything.
did.
I did not do. Oh my God.
Watch that
Y'all
off.
some
The second video that we will be utilized to highlight our findings. Please note, we are highlighting portions of the body worn camera videos during this press conference in order to focus on the findings of the case. However, we will post the unedited, full-length body worn camera footage on our website of this encounter, as well as the abbreviated versions that we are utilizing in this press conference. The Office of Professional Standards looked at numerous cases or numerous allegations to include 4 counts of response to resistance, 2 counts of constitutional procedures, challenging law enforcement, bias-based policing, and 2 counts of destruction of property. The first count, damage to the property or the taillight. Mr. Gilmore alleged during numerous social media postings that Wood or CPD busted out his taillight during the January 10th encounter. Mr. Gilmore did not make that allegation during his initial complaint on January 14th, 2021, or during his taped interview, only on his social media outlets. Tyler?
You're right.
As you can see, the in-car camera videos that are being posted prior to arrival, you can see that the left tail light is already busted out. Therefore, we had to unfound that allegation that the CPD damaged to property. The second count, bias-based policing. Mr. Gilmore alleged that the complainant who was on the side of the road near the front of his vehicle without legal justification, based solely on his race, based on his complaint, targeted him for walking while Black. Body worn camera footage shows and the complainant's statement show there was no evidence. There were no racial slurs, ethnic status, or characteristics that were based solely on his race for the detention.
All right, man.
In fact, he was stopped already and the officer checked on him.
You all right? Huh?
You okay? Are you doing all right?
Yes, I'm okay.
Okay. That's what I
I've been
stopped for.
taking antibiotics. I had to puke.
Okay.
So thank you.
Yeah, that's why I stopped. I saw you stop, so I'll stop and make sure you're all right.
Thank you, man.
All right.
Although Mr. Gilmore did not file a complaint for challenging authority, we did sustain collateral allegations that Wood responded in such a way, according to the body worn camera footage. Wood appeared to disengage from the encounter. He appeared to turn around and walk away. And at that moment, Mr. Gilmore said something to the effect that cops be playing too much. Wood immediately re-engaged. Wood failed to articulate or justify his reasoning to re-engage and reacted solely on being challenged.
How about, hey, you have a driver's license? Let me see your driver's license.
What, do we have the one with the gun was next?
Yes, that's next. Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Gilmore alleged in his internal affairs interview on January 14th that during the encounter, the officer had his gun drawn out and believed the officer was going to shoot him. According to body worn camera footage and Mr. Gilmore's social media, there is no evidence whatsoever. In fact, his statements are contrary to that. Mr. Gilmore, in fact, shouts for everyone to wake up and pay attention in case the officer pulls a gun and shoots him.
I'm sorry, Chief, this is the.
That's all right. The second one, the other allegation, display of firearms is unfounded, and we'll show that a little bit later in the video and highlight that. The temporary detention was sustained. When a police officer restrains an individual's freedom to walk away, the officer has seized that individual. That type of seizure is only reasonable based on the circumstances, when the seizure is aroused, based on the circumstances apparent in the body-worn camera footage. It was the opinion of the Office of Professional Standards, Internal Affairs, and our Fourth Amendment analysts that Wood's actions in detaining Mr. Gilmore were unreasonable.
Sir, stop now.
Don't touch me.
Stop now. On the ground.
Oh my God, I just told you I got out the hospital, man. I just told you I just got out the hospital.
Put your hands behind your back.
Okay. What are you? Look, what in the is you doing?
Why?
Unlawful pat down. When Wood detained, handcuffed, and then performed a pat down of Mr. Gilmore, in order to perform any pat downs, you must have a person in detention. An officer must have reason to believe that the subject is currently armed or dangerous. Based on all the evidence in front of us, that pat down was unwarranted, unlawful, and therefore we sustained it.
No, I ain't got on me.
What's that?
What the is my check me? You want me to drop everything off?
Nope.
Stop squirming, dude.
Pull my pants down.
Stop squirming.
No, because you always think we carry guns and so y'all can shoot us.
That's not.
Damage to the cell phone. According to Mr. Gilmore, the officers took his cell phone from him and slammed it on the ground, damaging his cell phone. According to body-worn camera footage, all the postings and the GoFundMe narrative, it is clear the device was dropped during the takedown and not a result of an officer taking the phone and slamming it to the ground.
Man,
Where's your driver's license at, sir?
man, leave me alone, man.
Nope.
I didn't do anything.
Come on, let's go back to you.
Okay, this is the firearm, Chief.
Display of a firearm. Again, just for showing the very specifics of the display of the firearm. Mr. Gilmore alleged in his internal affairs interview on January 14th that during the encounter, the officer had his gun drawn out and believed the officer was going to shoot him. Therefore, based on the body-worn camera evidence, we had to unfound that complaint.
No, it's not going to work like that.
It is going
No,
to work
sir.
like that because I didn't do anything.
I know you haven't done
Because I
anything.
didn't do anything, so thank you. Thank you for your service. Hey, make sure y'all wake up in case he pull a weapon.
CP 124.
Bye, man, I don't have to stand here.
Yep.
I move my car.
Again, our body-worn camera footage, Mr. Gilmore made the complaint that officers were performing elbow strikes, slammed him on his head, and did a variety of maneuvers on him, and that there were up to 9 officers doing that. According to our body-worn camera footage, we had to unfound the excessive force and exonerated excessive force in terms of the takedown. Excessive force, as defined, is what a reasonable officer would believe was the force that was able to be used at that set of, when presented with the same facts and circumstances. Officer Wood, would another officer consider Wood's actions unreasonable? The objective reasonable test depends on 3 factors: the nature of Mr. Gilmore's actions, whether Mr. Gilmore posed an immediate threat, and whether Mr. Gilmore was resisting. Based on the body-worn camera footage and the Office of Internal Affairs and the Fourth Amendment analysts, Wood's force was not excessive. Wood articulated in his reports, although he did not articulate to Mr. Gilmore, that he observed Gilmore driving. The taillight was broken. Gilmore admitted that he was driving, and Wood had requested his driver's license repeatedly. Gilmore refused to produce the license and started to walk away. Although Wood failed to articulate his reasons for requiring the license, a license is required to drive a vehicle. It should be noted in the report, although Gilmore does not possess a valid driver's license. However, that information was not known to Wood at the time.
I was working in storage, and when I was jumping over the thing, I think the little metal thing on the storage cut me. But I was in a bottom. Huh? Did you get infected? Yeah, because I was messing with it. But what happened is I don't have any feelings below my shoulders that much. So when he was touching me, I can't feel too good. So my hand just bleeding. And then I realized it a little bit later. So I bandaged it. The dude at the place helped me bandage it. Then a week later, it gets infected.
Ready for questions? Okay, so we're gonna open this up for questions. As I mentioned earlier, I'm gonna call on you guys based on the order you all responded to me when we sent out this announcement. So first up is gonna be Macy Morris from CBS 19, but Macy, I see you on here twice. I'm not sure which one you are, so I'm just gonna try this one first and see if this is you. And can you go ahead and unmute your microphone, Macy?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, hi. Yeah, Macy, I picked the right one. You can go ahead and ask your questions.
Thank you. I just wanted to clarify that I am both Macy Moore's on here just for audio purposes, and I actually don't have any questions at this time. So thank you.
Great. Okay, next is going to be Brian McKenzie from the Daily Progress. Brian, you can go ahead and unmute your microphone.
Yes. Give an old man an iPhone, it's going to get confused. Okay, can you hear me, boss?
Yes, I got you.
All right. I guess the main thing that I'd like to know is what, if any, repercussions will Officer Wood face from the findings that were certified?
So thank you for that. If you notice from my statement, I've said both former Officer Yeager and former Officer Wood.
Yeah, I apologize. I had an internet glitch, and so it sounded like Max Headroom, if you're old enough to remember him. So I kind of missed part of that. So I apologize for that. All right, thank you. So
No,
they are both no longer on the department.
They are both former officers.
All right, thanks, Mac. All right, next is going to be Sandy Houseman from WTVF. Sandy, you can go ahead and unmute your microphone.
Okay. I'm interested in what steps, if any, the department will take in response to these events. Do you feel that additional training is needed or more sensitivity awareness? Is there anything special the department will be doing? And I'd also like to know the seniority of each of these officers.
So I'm not sure what you mean by seniority of each of these officers. Sorry?
How long have they been with the police force?
Wood is relatively new, and Yeager, I wouldn't have the exact time. About 5 years.
And additional training or any other education plan for other officers?
So thank you, Sandy, for that. We have used these videos extensively throughout the department to talk about training, as well as we've put together from the Fourth Amendment analyst, as well as the opinions of what is excessive force, and that's been pulled out as well legally to make those definitions clear. When you can have an encounter, when you can detain someone, communication skills. Obviously, Wood did not communicate why he was encountering Mr. Gilmore, further, why he was requesting his driver's license. The things he would have had the ability to do. Mr. Gilmore was driving the vehicle by his own admission, a combination of things. Sometimes he said he was moving the vehicle. Other times he's said that he was driving the vehicle and, was not feeling well. Would have had the opportunity to ask for and get his driver's license. You are required to carry your driver's license with you. And then when you're asked, because you've been driving, you do need to provide your name and your address as a form of identification. As you can see, none of those things did occur. But part of it was a lack of communication on Wood's part, where he failed to articulate when he moved from custody and care of checking on Mr. Gilmore to when this was an actual encounter in which Mr. Gilmore would have had to engage or submit to the authority based on the lights being on, in uniform, asking for his driver's license. So that was not clearly communicated, Sandy, and that has been part of our training as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Sandy. Okay, next is Brielle Ensminger from Seaville Weekly. Brielle, you can go ahead and unmute your microphone.
Hello.
Yes, we got you. We can hear you.
Awesome. So my first question, after obviously LeQuinn took to social media and to news media about the whole incident, and he said he had a whole string of injuries, were y'all able to prove that he had been injured by this encounter?
So we don't do medical evaluations. According to Mr. Gilmore's claims that we, were performing, slamming him on his head, wrestling moves, injured his spine, arms, legs. We're just saying the video indicates that that kind of thing did not occur. It was one officer who did a takedown of him. And so we don't substantiate medical claims.
Okay. And my follow-up question was about like the bias-based policing. You had said that the department couldn't, I guess, agree with that because that the officer did not use like racial slurs and stuff like that. I was wondering if that is like the main way that the department proves that there's been bias-based policing by like the language the officer uses?
So bias-based is not just that, it's based on, if you look at our policies that are on our line, it's very clear, was the reason that the officer encountered them based solely on their race or their ethnicity, et cetera. Originally, the encounter was based on custody and care. The officer said, I'm checking on you. You pulled over, you don't appear to be, or whatever it is. I'm just checking on you. I saw you pulled over, making sure you're okay. So we did not encounter him at all first using our authority.
Mm-hmm.
It was just an actual encounter. So there is a variety of things. It says race, ethnicity, or those reasons as a sole reason for the reason that we encountered them.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Brielle. And last but not least, we have Rachel Hirschheimer from NBC 29. Rachel, you can go ahead and unmute your microphone.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear.
All right, so I know you said that you can't substantiate medical claims, but he was injured. I did see some of his hospital records the day after. Will the department be apologizing on behalf of former Officer Wood for what he did and apologize to Mr. Gilmore publicly?
So thank you for that. So the end of my statement for this press conference, and I'll read it out loud. Although both of these cases have been closed, and the former officers are being held accountable, the harm they have inflicted will linger. The harm includes undermining the positive interactions and relationships so many of our CPD officers have worked to establish. Their actions are not reflective of CPD's values and commitment to service beyond the call. Wood and Yeager's actions highlight the injustices that permeate the fabric of our society and of a criminal legal system that is rooted in supremacy and anti-Black violence. Their actions erode the community's confidence and elevate fears that Black and brown communities, Black men and people of color will be brutalized, over-policed and underprotected. And their actions validated those community fears and concerns. They have harmed this community, and for their actions, I am sorry. Thank you for that question.
Thank you.
All right, and that's all the reporters I have on this call. Chief, do you have anything else?
Thank you very much. We will be posting a statement as well as all of the videos, including the unedited body worn camera footage in its entirety on our website. Thank you very much. This concludes our press conference.